Dear friends, this right here is love. Not that we loved God, but still he gave his son just to save us, and sacrifice for us. And since God loved us, then we also ought to love one another. And if God is love, whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. So, and if you don't know love and you don't know God, let it change who we are.
All right, what up, fam? Paige, Payne on the podcast. I think this is number 29. We're getting close to 30. Dirty 30. This is chamomile tea. Jake Lambrisi got me into it. Had it the other night at Life Group. Kind of addicted.
He got you into it. What does that mean? He had you try some?
Yeah, I had tea at their house the other night. I'm not a big tea guy, but I had chamomile tea and I kind of like it.
Jake Lambrisi.
The influencer. Such an influencer. I lived in South Africa for a summer right after high school. When I turned 18, graduated high school, left Ecuador, never to come back, and went to South Africa for 6 weeks. And my sister got married, and my dog of 13 years died, all within 5 days. That's a lot of things all at one time. I flew by myself as an 18-year-old, landed in South Africa. No one was there to pick me up. So I got my brick phone that all it had was Snake on it and T9 texting. And I somehow called. Yeah, you remember the game, the Snake Nokia game with the
if I don't
brick?
Remember it and I'm 4 years younger than you, they don't remember it.
No, for sure they know it. It's the snake. It's it had up, right, down, left. And if you ate the apple, your snake got a little bit longer. And then it's you're in this black and white screen. It's a popular...
Grandpa.
Anyways.
That's what we'll call him. K910, K Gen Z, or I don't know if you have a new Gen name down there, but you can start calling him Grandpa.
That's fine. It's fine. I cherish it. But anyways, I landed in South Africa, somehow called my dad, who was still in Ecuador. He got a hold of the person that was supposed to pick me up in Ecuador, whose name was literally Gerard Duvenhagen. I'm not joking. And he thought I was coming in the next day. Didn't even pick me up. So I had to take a taxi in South Africa by myself at night in Johannesburg. Sketchy. Anyways.
What a time. It seems like we have some serious unpacking to do and perhaps some therapy work.
Yeah. Paige is a spiritual director in training. So this whole podcast is actually going to be her directing me spiritually.
Wow.
And y'all can just be here for it.
Meanwhile, that story, I would also just say we have a story of us getting separated in our honeymoon, on our honeymoon in Bali. And it's a pretty exciting story. So
Paige got in a taxi.
Watching this, you should ask us separate.
I was riding a motorcycle. My motorcycle ran out of gas. The taxi kept going. I had no phone, no money. And
he didn't know the address of the Airbnb we were going to.
And I didn't know where we were going as I watched this taxi driver take my new wife away. And we were separated in Indonesia. Womp, womp, womp.
I know. Whatever happened?
What a great preview for a story.
I know.
Come find us and ask. All right. Paige Payne. We kicked off week 3 in our series called Awake in the book of Colossians. I know you opened up with Colossians is my favorite book of the Bible a little bit in the sermon, but more in we're in a little more casual setting here, podcasting. What are some seasons that you've come back to the book of Colossians, and how has God used the book of Colossians in your life to remind you of things that you already know to be true?
Okay, so honestly, I'll probably go back to Colossians once a month, maybe more than that. Maybe once every 2 months. I don't know. If I'm sitting down with one of my girls or something and they're kind of struggling, let's read the book of Colossians. If you're out there and you're I don't even know where to start reading the Bible, book of Colossians.
Really? You would recommend Colossians as a number one?
It's just Jesus, and it talks about Jesus. So much of the Bible.
I feel like it's hella confusing though. There's certain things about it that the supremacy of Christ. That's okay.
Oh my gosh, we're getting
should I have said hecka?
Yes, Northern California over here.
Sorry, hecka confusing.
I don't know. I believe apologize. In you. We can handle things being confusing and a mystery, but I just feel like out of all the books in the Bible, we take a lot of the different stories about Jesus and we come up with who Jesus was and what he declared himself to be and all that kind of stuff. And then Colossians just tells us, and that he's like, he is God. He's the supremacy. Like everything was made by him and for him. Like I just love this book. And so I feel like, especially when I'm like, I need to read this book, is when my world or my problems or the things that are so cluttering my head and like this all like fear or what's going to happen tomorrow or anything like that comes up, I'm like, I just have to be reminded that the person of Jesus who I follow and who I base my entire life on, like he's not worried about those things. Like he's worried about much bigger things. The mission of Christ is much bigger than like what's going to happen to me tomorrow. And that really excites me, but also like the God who is so big is with me right now. And so both of those things, it kind of gets me out of my like moment where my world seems like it's falling apart. It seems like everything's such a big deal, and it gives me some clarity. Like there's a lot more happening in this world than like my little situation. And yet the bigness of that God meets me in my situation. So I just love it.
So good.
I love him. Yeah.
I love him. Jesus is great.
And I love Paul. Like I have
You were going to say crush.
I have a like Bible crush on Paul, and I just love him so much, and he wrote it, and the end. It's
weird.
It is.
It's a little weird.
It is a little weird.
I wonder what Paul looked like.
He was probably little. I feel like they all just were littler back then. Bite size Paul. Yes.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
That's okay.
Like Goliath was probably like 6'3".
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa.
Right.
Big time. Wow. It's a lot to think about. Okay, I asked Charlene this question a couple weeks back on the podcast, and the question is, if you had a billboard on the 5 South fully paid for, what would you put on it?
Okay, this is so stupid, but it has to be on some like, I'm not on TikTok, but it has to be on some like Reel or Instagram thing. But I like think about it on a regular basis. Have you heard about like this guy broke up with a girl, and she was so mad that she like started posting around in town, like, call this number for a Chewbacca audition, you could win $1,000.
So good.
He got like,
it's so good.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that just is so funny. And so I would for sure put your phone number up.
Mine?
And have you get that.
It's messed up.
And Austin has this thing that like he has to respond to everything that he gets, and so he'd have to call these Chewbacca people back.
Please like explain. You make that sound like a bad thing, that I respond to people when they text me.
Austin is like, you know, a regular person. Like he uses his phone a lot. Okay, if we were to look at his screen time, it would be high. Okay,
not that high.
It would be high, but
I don't have any games on my phone, and I don't have social media on my phone.
He just is texting and connecting with people.
The 2 things I do on my phone is ESPN and like text, call, and FaceTime.
Yeah.
Which is like it's networking.
Yeah.
I'm not like constantly on my phone like whatever.
No, you're not. You're
not.
not.
Me sound bad over here.
No, we just have different uses of our phone. Whereas if you want to reach out to me, I can leave my phone upstairs for 3 days at a time and let it die on a weekly basis. But odds are I've ghosted you at one point or another and made you feel like she must not like me, which is not true at all. I actually really like you. I just didn't respond to your text message.
I just feel like the like quote unquote I'm bad at texting is like people say I'm bad with names.
It's like a cop out.
Yeah, it's like everybody's bad with names.
Well, we all just value something different. I value being with people face to face. And that actually does come across as kind of rude when people reach out to me in this digital age, because I have felt that on the other end. If somebody doesn't respond to me, I feel like, oh no, they don't like me or something. I don't know. I like feel all these things if I don't get responded to. But I'm not thinking that when I'm not responding to people.
How many unread text messages do you think are on your phone right now?
Not that many, because I just got a new phone.
Katie Busick.
That's my only...
Texted you today.
I have 7.
You didn't respond.
I have 7 unknowns.
Who's somebody in your phone that you don't have their number saved that you should probably have their number saved?
I'm not going to say that on this right now.
Come on. Y'all, she just pulled up her text message. There's so many numbers that are just numbers.
I was texting Jordan people.
But you got people on there that like you've known for years that you still haven't saved their number. Come on, be honest.
I can't think of any names specifically, but yeah.
All right. The Chewbacca audition one's good. That's
Thank
good.
you.
That's funny.
How about you? What'd you say?
What would I put on there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The first thing that popped into my head is I drive past this little tiny church in Fallbrook every day, almost every day, when I'm dropping Piper off or picking Piper up from school. And the pastor there, he puts these like cheesy signs out front. Did you see the most recent one?
Oh, I like those ones.
They're great. I would just replicate those, but on the 5 freeway.
Okay.
Like in the fall, he put, "Come on in. We're now serving pumpkin spice communion." It said JK, Sundays at 10. Like I would put directions to that dude's church, and I would just hope to push people his way. The one right now, it says, "Read the Bible like Shrek. Somebody once told me," but it's like somebody once told me. Anyways, yeah, that's what I would put on there. I don't know. I like yours better, but that's just what popped into my head. Okay, another question for you, follow-up question. I'm going to get to some hot takes, by the way, and then we're going to go from hot takes to dating advice.
I'm just really curious who is possibly still listening to us ramble.
I don't know. My mom.
I love that girl. Okay.
Emily. Megan Paige.
Hi, Megan. Hi, Emily.
Who else listens to this podcast? Braden, every once in a while.
Hi, Braden.
That's about it. No, there's a few more. Okay. I think there's some students that listen to it, and then a handful of leaders.
Ready? If you're listening to this, you need to call Austin
right
with your
now.
Chewbacca impression.
Right now.
805-538-8168. Do you see how clearly I knew his phone number? Austin, what's my phone number?
916-770-9757.
Come on. That's the first time he's ever done that.
Roasted.
You only had to learn that because you were in prison. Okay, so...
That's actually facts. The only reason I know that number is because I had to memorize it when they took my phone away. I got one phone call, and it was Chris Brown.
And I'm thankful for that. Moving on.
Moving on. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a Jesus question, and then we're gonna get to some hot takes. But the whole book of Colossians is about cultural temptations that tempt you to turn away from Jesus. What's the number one temptation for you that causes you to turn away from Jesus? We're still here, by the way. She's just thinking. There's lots of people checking their connection out there, like our Spotify listeners that aren't watching.
Well, I can't just come up with an answer on out of nowhere. I need to inspect my heart over here, okay?
The spiritual director speaking.
I need to inspect my situation, but...
I could talk more about chamomile and rooibos while you're thinking.
Please no. I think one of the things... I can't say if this is the most. I feel like I could take some time to think about this. But most simply is I just get really focused on being comfortable in the present situation. So really simple thing. It's not anything crazy pulls me away culturally. I don't feel like I'm sitting here in front of you today. I don't have the makeup situation going on. My hair is kind of awesome. Anyways, I look a little spooky. I'm not super.
You don't look spooky.
You're so
look cute.
Sweet to me. But I just feel like there's. You're
wearing my jacket without asking, but
it's fine.
It's a little messed up.
But yeah, it's not anything I think super crazy is pulling me, but it's honestly just the simple
daily
things
comfort.
Of daily comfort and daily.
That's real.
Task lists. I just want to get my stuff done and feel good about it, and then be able to relax. And that cycle pulls me away from thinking about Jesus. So, sorry, no super hot takes right now, but
it's good. It's real.
That's my current.
Super real. It's good.
Also, I will say this. I have an addiction to comfort food, and I do find myself, like, instead of turning to Jesus and things, I do turn to food. I will confess.
Y'all, if you don't know what a doula is, it's like a birth coach. We sat with one this morning, and the doula, in all seriousness, asked Paige what her diet is lately. And Paige's answer was bagels and Happy Meals. And her recommendation was to just mix a little more protein in
with my carbs. And you want to know something else sad is that she told me a week ago that I needed to keep a written diary of what I was eating, and I couldn't. I wouldn't. It was going to be too much. I was going to have to face too much writing it down.
When you get a Happy Meal, do you justify it by being like, I'm with Piper and we're going to split it? Or do you just like, is it just, it is what it is and you're going for the Happy Meal?
I justify it because it's kid size.
But it's you eating it.
I'd prefer Piper not to be there.
That's so good. I love that. Do you ever get looks? Do you ever get weird looks from the McDonald's people?
No, not from them, but the people I'm like shoving my face with while I drive by. I get a good amount of smiles from people.
Nice. Big French fry girl. That's awesome. Okay. We're going to move on to the dating advice. We're going to end right here because it's getting close, and we're going to keep this one under 20 minutes for all of our listeners that are still with us. Guys, it's been a week. It's been one of those weeks.
It has been a week.
It's been a week. Do you have any like go-to on the top of your head dating advice right now? If not, I will ask you a question.
I mean, give me a topic of dating. I don't know.
Breaking up. How do you do it?
I recently heard from someone, clarity is kindness. I don't know. I have a lot of compassion for people who are doing the breaking up part. That sucks.
You'd rather be broken up with?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But also, I will say, this is not a hot take on dating, but maybe more of the like pre-dating, like the flirty person. I feel like,
talk to him.
Okay, I'm going to put this out there. You wouldn't know it now because I'm a mother of almost 2, okay? I'm out of your season. But back in the day, I had to have my fair share of conversations with gentlemen who were expressing interest with the belief that I had expressed interest or like shown them that I was maybe interested. And all I learned is that, and I would use it like, no, I'm just being friendly, not flirty, like, haha. But I feel like after several conversations like that, you kind of got to face the facts that maybe you have some flirtiness to own. That's not just friendliness. And
you did.
You're talking, okay? And so I just want to put that out there. Like, be careful of how you interact on like a just guy to girl interaction of what you're trying to communicate. Because I feel like there was times where I'd be like, oh, I have to have another one of these conversations, or these guys are reading in anything. I just want to be friends, like whatever. And then I kind of had to look at it and be like, how am I contributing to this situation? And
so what do you do? Like, what do you do in that situation where somebody's perceiving your actions as flirty and you're like, I'm just trying to be friendly?
Well,
like
apologize.
Just take stock of like how you're acting.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah, I just feel like if we were to like look at it, like the interest and intrigue of somebody else actually like probably made me feel good. It didn't probably. Like, it was fun. It was like, oh, I know that I could get their attention if I wanted to. And thinking it was harmless and like, what is that going to lead to? They're fine. And then realizing like, oh, there's actually another person on the other end of that. So it wasn't actually loving, even though it all seemed just like good fun of like guys and girls, like, oh, we're just playing and having fun. But then there's actually somebody on the other side, and you can't control if they develop feelings or not, but you can lead into the wrong place maybe. So
it's good. It also just dawned on me that we floated our cell phone numbers out on the internet.
Mine's anywhere, so go ahead and call me.
What do you mean it's anywhere?
I sign it on all my emails.
Your cell phone number?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
If I can get hacked by somebody in Nigeria and I still don't have access to my Instagram account, I don't care if the world has my phone number. We're all getting hacked. It's fine.
It's getting real, guys. Paige got so hacked by somebody in Nigeria. Still yet to be recovered.
I've given up.
She didn't get a Tesla, for all of those of you that were wondering. We're all getting hacked. That's a good place to end right there.
We're all getting hacked.
We're all getting hacked. Life is a hack. All right. Hey, we love you, 910.
We apologize for your past 20 minutes of wasted time.
I'd say you're welcome. No apologies. Peace out, Cub Scout.